Most brands think customers leave just because they're unhappy. This thread shows something different. What happens if customers leave products they love simply because they're bored? On this thread on r/smartphones, they're asking a question. I think I'm officially bored with iPhone. What should my next phone be? So if we assess this thread with my methodology, we'll see that they're bored of iPhone. Like they like iPhone, they buy iPhone, but they're just not happy with it. They're not angry, they're not frustrated, there's no major complaints. They just want something different. So now we assess that thread and say, there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity here to sell. There's an opportunity here to get people from one brand to another brand. There's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of intent here for a brand that wants to come and operate in this thread. And one thing that's interesting about this kind of thread, right, is that brands, they don't really track dissatisfaction. They don't really track boredom. Boredom is not in analytics and nothing like that. You can't really quantify that, you know? But before a brand finds an analytics, it's in these communities. And that's why it's important to look at these kind of communities, because that's what will really show what your customers, a brand's customers, really think. So of course, if we just look at what are people asking, what's the pain point, very simple. They're bored of iPhone and they want something different. But now we got to go deeper, because the psychology behind this thread isn't just like, oh, okay, I want a new phone, whatever. If we go deeper into this, we're actually looking into like the relationship people have with products. People can like a product and it can be really good, but they get bored of it. They're too familiar with it. They've seen too much. There's no new experiences. There's no new features. There's nothing that will really make you excited. Once upon a time, like iPhone would make people really excited, but now so many versions of the iPhone, people are just bored. They want something new. And for businesses and brands, that's what we could take into it. People don't like the same things all the time. They want something fresh. Even if they like it, they just want something different. Not better, different. So like competitors, a lot of times they don't win just because they're better. They've got a better product, but they don't make people feel anything. People are bored. They're not excited. They're not, oh, okay, you make me feel something. People want to feel something. If that means they have to go to something different, different brand, different experience, different features, different interface, then people will do that just because they want something new and different. So a brand that's coming to now deploy an answer into a thread like this, if you're someone you're not iPhone, so firstly, if you're iPhone, if you're Apple, coming to a thread like this, easily, what you have to do is acknowledge what people are saying, acknowledge that, okay, look, I can see you want something new, and explain why you're bringing something new. Explain what you bring that is new, that is exciting, that is something that is different from what you have. And that's a good way to address it. A brand that's coming in that's not Apple, that wants to engage in a thread like this, you have to acknowledge the boredom. You have to acknowledge why they're asking this question. And easily, you have to just say, look, I can understand why you might want a new iPhone. iPhone, a lot of the features are the same, and I get it, and I get it. If you want a new phone, you probably need to think about X features, this feature. You might want to think about this. And if you've got recommendations that is different, provide the recommendation and explain why it's different. Ultimately, the purpose of this thread is they just want something new. So by this thread, the answer is, all you have to do is explain why what you do is new from an emotional standpoint, and explain why it's different. Explain the story behind it. What's going to make people feel something. And that's how you respond to a question like this. You just have to literally acknowledge the boredom, as funny as it sounds. So how this answer can compound over time. Now imagine that, now if you're a different smartphone brand and you engage in this thread, you've explained why your product makes people feel a bit something. A thread like this is going to be in the search engines when people are asking for comparisons to iPhone, iPhone alternatives, iPhone, what's different to iPhone. And then they might see your brand, they might see your answer, then they might look into, okay, oh, this makes me feel a bit different. And now that might be a new customer you have, or a new audience you're exposed to, because these threads can get indexed and searched and saying, look, here's an alternative to iPhone, and that Reddit answer could be what gets indexed. How you operate in a thread like this is just simply log in the insights. If you're an alternative smartphone brand that's entered this thread, very simply, you're just logging the insights. So when you say you give your answer, what are people saying in return? Are people giving you feedback? Are people saying they like your product? If people saying they hate your product, why did you come and put yourself in this thread? We don't like your products, but understand why. Get data, get insights, because that can help your brand, can help your product to be better. It can help your brand to get out there and just generally give you an idea of what people really think about your brand in the light of the big brands like your Apples and etc. So that's how you would log a thread like that. Ultimately, applying the whole methodology, you can get an idea of what people are really thinking about iPhones, smartphones in general, and alternatives. You get a lot of things in this kind of thread. You're not just getting what people giving recommendations. They're talking about smartphones in general. They're talking about their attitudes to iPhones, their attitudes to phones. Phones got too many features. Phones got this. Phones got that, and that can be really, really good for insights, and it gives you insight into how we see brands as well. Big brands, we like them, but sometimes we get bored of them, and that's a fact across all industries. We just get bored, and then we look for something different, because different doesn't mean better. Different just means new. So for brands, what are you providing that's new?